Hello, everybody. We are back today. We have the lovely Patricia with us. Our Patricia. We have Trouble About, and we have Wide Awake. Of course, me.
Hey,
Hey,
Yeah, we are Patricia.
hi everyone.
Hey, my
Good
darling.
morning. Good morning.
Good evening. Good afternoon. That's what it is. Afternoon for Wide Awake for us.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're having this hangout today because Wide Awake said he'd love to have a hangout with you, Trouble. And it's about you two talking to each other.
Yeah, I've seen you've been watching the sun and things.
yeah, I've been doing a bunch of star pictures and long exposures work out real nice for doing some of the star pictures. And then I've been doing
Yeah,
a video on Saturn and Jupiter too.
I've got heaps of Jupiter and its moons. I haven't been able to get the planet very clearly or Saturn. But I've got heaps of star trails. I've been taking lots of star trails. So they've
Yeah,
been really interesting.
yeah, I don't know if I mean I don't do many star trails. I don't know why. I'm thinking about starting to do some. Usually it's because I'm not gonna uh, be sitting out there all night, or I've been just having really here lately. I've been just having really terrible skies, but it's just now starting to clear up, which is nice because um,
Well, yeah, I just thought, well, not many star trails are taken from the southern hemisphere. It's mostly the northern. And I just thought, well, maybe I can map where I am visually from, below. And we have really clear skies here most of the year round, so well, why not?
well, of
It's
course, we just went through that little hurricane on the East Coast. I mean, I'm on the opposite coast, which is good because we didn't even get any wind until after it done passed up to Georgia and South Carolina.
yeah, it looked huge and nasty.
Yeah, yeah, I did. And the poor people of the Bahamas, man. Oh my.
Yeah.
I mean, my heart goes out to those folks. I just was watching on the news the other day where the reporter said, you can look over there at this church that apparently a lot of people went into, and he says, you can see arms and legs sticking out of the bill of all the rubble. You could just tell he just the look on the guy's face was like, you can tell, man, it was a heartbreaker. But no, I'm interested in maybe trying to get with you on taking some star pictures of just pictures of the Southern Cross. We can do some comparisons to Polaris.
Oh yeah, yep. I've taken a few. I did a star trail of the Southern Cross, or the South Pole star spiral, whatever you call it, and I did one just of the Southern Cross rotating, so more filmed than a star trail. And it's going upside down at the moment, which I didn't know. And most people I ask, because we're always taught that the Southern Cross points to the South Pole. But how does it do that if it's upside down? I'm like really confused.
I
Because
hear.
like last year when I started, it was on the left-hand side of the sky. If you look south, it was left, and it was on its diagonal pointing inwards. And then by the end of the night, it would rotate till it was like upright. And now when I go outside, it's on the right-hand side of the circle, the spiral, leaning diagonally. And then it goes down till it's sideways. And if I, stayed up long enough, I'd see it going upside down, which is really spinning me out because I didn't know it did that. It's like,
Uh,
what the
yeah,
fuck? It's like, there's so much I don't know about the sky that I thought I knew. When I'm looking at it, it's like, no, this is crazy. And it's probably already always known, but I don't know by astrologers, but it's not something I knew. I'm gonna have to ask my folks and some older people what their memories are of the Southern Cross. Well, it's hard though to get in the center of the southern of the southern spiral, because there aren't many stars in there, and I'm in the city, and it's a bit bright and not much shows up in there. I need to be out where it's darker.
Yeah, that's what I found. Standing in my backyard, it isn't so bad because north of me, there's not a lot of city. South of me, there's city lights, and I do get the light pollution. But I'll tell you, on those real crystal clear nights, though, that light pollution does not really affect my shooting to the south, because I've done some time lapses that were just the star trail, not the star trail, but the star, just the star movie trails, and the stars just stand out like big sore thumbs.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if I got in a much darker place, I'd pick up a lot more of them.
Oh, when we were driving up from Victoria, like up Australia, and we were out in the middle of nowhere, the sky was just littered with stars. They came down to the ground all the way around you. It was just magical.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got some stars that I took out at Bayport because it's pretty dark out there on a no moon night. It's like, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, the stars do stand out. And then I've been out in my boat fishing at night on some of the darkest nights you've ever seen out on the water. But you look up, and it is literally like looking at a cloud in the sky of stars.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
How much light is blocked out, how many stars.
That's why I want to go up there one night on my boat and get out and on some island and see if I can't do some nice time lapses of the stars up there and pick them up, being that I know that they're much, much brighter.
Yeah, I'm amazed how many stars show up in a star trail. Like, I'll take a photo of the sky and I won't see many stars in it, but then I'll start a star trail and all the stars start to show up. It's like, wow. Because it's a long exposure. I'm starting to learn. Well, the thing is, though, I've got them going both directions. I'm in the middle, so I get the straight line. I've got straight stars going straight above my head, and then to the left, the south, they go clockwise, and to the north, they go anti-clockwise, and you can definitely see them veering off. And no,
Believe it or not, even though I
don't know if they can with the Southern Cross going upside down. I don't see how they can be going straight with that going upside down.
But
then, it could all just be perspective, like you said. But
the stars all react the same way here in Florida too. If I aim my camera to the south, all the stars go right to left. If I aim it to the north, they go right to left to right if I'm pointing to the south, right to left if I'm pointing to the north.
I've been getting the something zone. What's it called? So the zone in between it. I'll have to find out what it's called.
Way.
No, where the moon goes. The moon's in the southern hemisphere at the moment. It's going around the South Pole, which is kind of.
Do you see Saturn and Jupiter right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I see Saturn and Jupiter too. So you're able to see it from Australia. But the only difference is because I'm much further away, right? You got to think about perspective over a flat surface, almost the same as a ball, right? Because they say the higher up you go, the farther you can see. Well, when you're on a flat plane, the higher up you go, the farther you can see too. And anybody can do this or test this on a tabletop. I mean, if you're standing above the tabletop, you see the whole surface of the table. Then you get back a little bit and start getting level with the table. Then what we're looking at is just a surface, correct? That surface will compress itself into a tiny little sliver when you're down perfectly even with the table. So you're trying to resolve something that's much further away, right, from a low perspective, but you can't because it gets so small that it's too close to the surface where you're going to be able to see it. It's the same as with anything. The farther, like when I'm in a boat and I start going away from shore, I can watch the shoreline get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not that it's falling behind the curve. It's just getting so small to the point where it's unresolvable. You cannot see it. And then you get to the point where your angle of resolution, you're just catching the tops of the waves. The closest wave you can resolve is going to be higher than that land that's off in the distance that has gotten so small that you can't resolve it. I was just thinking of a way to show perspective using just some parallel lines that I think would be very interesting to display and show why you know somebody made a remark on, well, why do they make lighthouses as tall as they can? Well, it's because of perspective, really. I mean, the farther you are away, the smaller that lighthouse is going to get, right? So
Yeah.
if they have that lighthouse, this is why too, even when you can't see the lighthouse, you see the light of the lighthouse because it's spreading out across the flat surface. And that light will look like it's going up and out, just like a parallel line. If you ran a line just above the top of your head, right? As it went away from you and you looked at it, it would look like it goes down to your feet. And then if you run one from behind your head and you turn around and you look, the same thing's going to happen. So it rises up over your head and then goes back to the floor. It's all about perspective and parallel lines. And because you're standing on the surface.
Well, that's not what the stars and planets are doing. There is a distinct two halves to the sky, no matter where you look from, and they rotate. They do rotate all the way around.
Yeah, but which way are they rotating?
Clockwise and anti-clockwise.
And
the ones in the middle go straight across.
It all might still be due to perspective.
But it's not the cameras. I don't think it's the cameras.
No, it's definitely not the camera, but I think it has to do with perspective.
Yeah, it will. And that they do that in the south too. The Big Dipper doesn't exist in my sky. I can see Orion's belt. I think we can see Orion's belt, and you can see Orion's belt, and that's probably the closest we can see of each other's skies.
Well, that's why I wanna do this thing with the string lines, because I really do feel like what Trouble is trying to say here. It would be okay. Because I see what she sees. Okay, and this is why I always was kind of like a glober too, in a sense. When I looked at the stars, it kind of got me, saying, well, they are spinning, in a circle. So, is it the stars that are spinning, or are we spinning? And I feel as if it is the stars moving. But if you was to take a, I don't know if you've ever seen what they call a planisphere, where they show a chart, star chart of the southern hemisphere and one of the northern hemisphere, right? And it's called a planosphere. And it's just a wheel with all the stars on it. Well, a guy peeled off the cover and, just was using the wheel. But if you was to take that wheel and put it over your head and spin it, and it was huge, say it was, as big as the sky, as far as you could see, those stars would spin in those kind of circles, especially if you put it on a tilt, as far as you would have to tilt it to see where Polaris is. If you was to place it where Polaris is in our sky, then everything would appear to be spinning, because we're not in the dead center right underneath Polaris, or you're not right underneath, the Southern Cross. But I kind of have a feeling, or my thought is there's stars at Polaris. When I zoom in on it and I take a picture, there's stars around Polaris that look very, very similar to the Southern Cross. That most you cannot see with your naked eye. You have to actually do a big zoom in on it, and like I said, take a picture, and you'll see 4 stars that one above, one below, and one on each side, and then there's a couple where there's a couple stars right beside each other. So that would be a good way to compare pictures to see if, you know, and it's just my theory that we're looking at a reflection, but either from a different angle, okay, because we're all going to be taking pictures from different angles, but we should still be able to match them up in a sense.
Yeah, see, I'm wondering if it's a reflection or if it's more where the opposite, where the missing bits to your bits. You know, like you've got the one Polaris and we have like 3 in Octava Sigmas or whatever it's called. It's kind of like to me, it looks like a cog, and it kind of, one fits inside the 3. Like that's how they would fit together if you folded them. Not that they're folded, but I don't think our sky is a mirror image of yours, because I don't think you have the Milky Way. And Saturn are in the Southern Star Trail.
Now, how low is that to the horizon to you? Is it at a 45-degree angle or higher?
Oh, it goes straight over my head. It rises in the. So if I look east, it's slightly to the right, more to southeast. Then it comes up diagonally, and then it's almost so that it's west. Then it goes straight over my head, and then it when it goes down, it then, as it gets on the horizon, it goes diagonally towards the south again.
Wow! So
And that's what my star and moon trails are showing.
So it almost goes directly over your head.
Yeah, and so do the planets. They go over my head.
Okay, well, I'm trying to think of, like, you know, I just took a picture.
And the convergence zone is the straight bit in between, and that's just slightly north over my head.
Yeah, see,
but if I just go straight up, I get the edge of the south and the north and the straight line ones in between. It's really weird. It's not what I was expecting to see at all.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think that you're looking to the north when you're seeing the moon.
No.
So you're looking like
west and up, straight up. Goes over my house, like, and so the sun will soon, but it's not now.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes straight. I'm going to keep an eye on the sun, but I don't think it goes as far south as it does north from my house, and it should. Or maybe not. Maybe the sun doesn't have to do that wider track to be in both hemispheres, you know, north and south. Maybe it doesn't have to veer that bit huge.
Because the moon for me right now is it's more toward the south than it is when it's directly above. I mean, above my head, it's more toward the south than it is towards the north. In other words, I have to turn facing south, because if I turn facing north, I wouldn't see it. It would be behind me. So I have to look south to see the moon, and you're having to look directly above you then.
Yeah, and east and west to see it rise and set.
But see, that's the thing. It always sets the same. I mean, it always rises out of the east and sets in the west, right?
But not straight. It doesn't go straight across the sky. It's going more south as it sets and rises.
Yeah.
And it's on this side, do it. And yeah, same as that. Yeah, they're doing that circle rotation, same as like they do in the north around Polaris. But I'm noticing they do for me. They just go straight across the sky, like disappear. But when I do them on a star trail, they are actually rising on a slight angle and setting on a slight angle, so that they are going around the North Pole, sort of thing. I just don't get to see the whole track. I just get to see a bit of the edge of the circle. It's really weird. There's this star out the backyard that I swear goes straight across the sky, but after filming it, it doesn't. It does this slight circle. It's just, like I said, on the edge of the circle. And then not far above that, the stars start to go straight. And then they curve massively. Yeah, it's really interesting anyway. I have no idea.
When I was in Ireland, I mean, I was just totally blown away by, number one, how long I could see the sun for, and the arc that it took in the sky compared to Florida. I mean, I was up at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock out in the parking lot of the hotel, still out there filming. You know, I could actually see the sky still lit up, you know, from the sun. And it was only gone, you know, like 4 or 5 hours. And if you got up early the next morning, I mean, early, like 4 o'clock, oh, all of a sudden you could see the sky lighting back up again, you know, off in the distance toward the west, or the east, excuse me, the east. I think that was winter months up there for them, because it was in June here in Florida. I mean, this was last year in 2018 we went there, and even the stars, you know, stayed up much longer than what I would see them here in Florida. In other words, I don't know, I was closer to the North Pole.
Yeah, see, it does that in the south too. Like here we have really short sunset and sunrise, like dusk and dawn. But down in Victoria, the sun can go down in summer and still be daylight for another 2 or 3 hours. Like stays daylight till 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like here in Florida, you know, I don't see the sun, but man, I stand out there on the shore and it's like I can, on a day where there's no clouds in the sky, oh, the horizon is lit up till, you know, 2-3 hours after the sun sets, supposedly, because it was like I said, it just seemed like the whole sky, and I'm thinking geez, I would have to have been looking north, like that was the only area that kind of got you know, lit up, like the horizon was still lit kind of faintly for really late at night, and then early in the morning it was lit up, and then, you know, when the sun came up, this was another thing that I noticed when I was over there. Oh man, the trails that I was taking pictures of at night, I was doing time lapses of you know, the sky, and man, I mean the contrails, chemtrails, whatever people want to call them. I mean, you know, people say it's all a hoax. You know, chemtrails is just another conspiracy. But I got to tell you, here in Florida, man, when I see these planes fly by, and you know, 2 planes fly almost side by side at the same altitude, and one's leaving a big shit trail and one's not leaving anything, or one's flying by leaving a little contrail, and you know, it dissipates as it goes by, but this other one leaves this trail that just it just continues to spread and spread until it's this fine, thin, icky looking white sky, and then it blends with all the other ones, and then our whole sky is just hazed, and it makes the sky, during, you know, when I go out and do the sunset, and I hate using the word set, but anyhow, the whole sky lights up like red. It got this big red tint in it. Now, I don't know if this is, you know, I can't, I've never gone behind one of these planes and took a sample of its trail, but I don't know, there's something to it to me. There's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, I got a couple of videos of planes leaving a trail that turned into clouds. So it's kind of like, I named the videos, do airplanes make clouds, question mark.
That is a good question, because I
And you can
see.
see, like,
hot
it's got
more.
two puffs of smoke coming out the back. One's white and one's like a reddy brown. And if nothing else, it's pollution. So, like, when did pollution not become an issue at the very least?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
If they don't want to go chemtrailing the whole whack, it's. I mean, there used to be acid rain when I went to England, and all the statues were apparently being eaten by acid rain, and there was smog and all sorts of things. You don't hear anything about any of them anymore.
No, times change, doesn't it? In this global warming.
Yeah, that's all they talk about. That's all the weather problems is global warming. Nothing.
Yeah, because now they want you to, you know, kill your kids, have abortions because our world's too populated. It's caused by man. So the less population we have, the better we are. So that really sounds to me like, I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, Bernie Sanders in America here. He's running for president, and he's straight out upfront socialist. And he just went on and was talking about where he would be willing to go to other countries and help them people, do family planning, which family planning is nothing but abortionist. They want to abort people's babies. So he's willing to go to other countries and help these poor families kill their children.
Well, not only that, they want to do it because they use those aborted fetuses for stem cells and all sorts of stuff. So that's what everybody needs to learn, is that these aborted babies aren't being disposed of properly. They're being recycled.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that should gross everybody out, let alone then you don't even have to worry about the moral issue. Just that goes right out the window, the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's satanic.
Whether it's satanic or against God, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like, no, that's just gross. You should not be doing that. That's not how we dispose of. Yeah.
Georgia a few years back, and I went to the Georgia Guidestones because I wanted to. I've seen some stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, you know what?
I see you doing there.
I don't
Excellent.
know if I believe this crap. Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, everything that they show you is true. It's there.
I'm surprised some local hick farmer hasn't knocked them over with a bulldozer or something. I mean,
well, they got cameras up all around that place. I'm sure if they seen somebody comment it, they
really?
on you in a heartbeat. Yeah, and who knows if the farmer that that monument is built on isn't locked and loaded to come down there at any time and just waste people away. Who knows? But I know it's there, and I know it says that their goal is to bring the population down to 500 million people, which half a billion people. What are we going to do with the rest of the 7.5 billion? They're going to exterminate us? Is this?
Well, I think those that agree with the population decrease should volunteer themselves and their own families first.
I said that today in a comment to somebody about.
No, I don't think the population's that big. I don't think we're down at 500 million, but I don't think we're at what they say we're at 7 point.
I don't think we're ever gonna overpopulate the earth. If they talk about, you don't just realize how big it is, right? That's what the farmers say to it.
We know, we've seen people do the research that there is enough land on this place. Water, I'm not so sure about, because we do need a lot of water.
Yeah. Well, especially where you're at.
And you don't need to kill people. You don't need to kill people to depopulate.
Pretty much China.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Just Googled it the other day because I had a discussion with somebody about Mount Everest.
It used to be Greenland when we were growing up. That's where Santa was. But now apparently the North Pole isn't over land, the magnetic North Pole.
Yeah.
It moves.
Yeah.
So, and it's moving quite quickly. So,
yeah, and an alarming rate by one guy that was deemed a liar later on. But yeah, it is supposedly moving, but that's what we're being told it is, right?
Well, I
Do
know
we
that
know
the
it's
South Pole on my compass doesn't match the star circles that I get. They're slightly out by like 5 degrees, 10 degrees. And I would have thought they would have matched, but they don't. So
well,
I'm
I
wondering.
think things is working in cycles, right? Everything works in cycles. So um, this earth warming or the different weathers that we've been getting, it's just a cycle that it's a natural cycle that earth goes through. It's not global warming. I mean, because remember, they talked about there was a mini ice age back in the 1800s, that they had. Well, now we go through a mini hot age, and then we could go back into an ice age. You just don't know. I mean, and these are the cycles that Earth has that it does on its own. And I think everything has a cycle. We have a life cycle, right? We were born, we grow old, we die. Do we come back, grow old, and die? I mean, are we reincarnated? I don't know. That's kind of the Buddhist outlook on it. The forever lasting life, you're just reborn again into this same cruddy world. Well, I don't okay, I don't put down anybody's religious beliefs. If they want to have that belief, that I have no issue with it. And some people look down upon me because I'm not, I don't put a lot of religious stuff out on my channel. And that's because I don't want to go insulting other people's religious beliefs that, to tell them that, oh, I'm a Christian, and if you don't believe in Christianity, you're going to hell. That's not the way you're supposed to treat people as a Christian. At least my outlook on it is you shouldn't treat people like that if you're going to call yourself a Christian. You should respect other people's religious beliefs, no matter if it's not what you believe, or even if you don't accept it. Like, I don't really accept the Buddhism, reincarnated, but let's take a look at that aspect. If you are reincarnated back into this same world, isn't it almost like going through hell again? I mean, so if you're reincarnated out of this world into a different realm or up into heaven, right, as we're told in the Bible, then you're going somewhere else where maybe there is no pain, there is no suffering, and you do have everlasting life. But again, we fall into attacking all these different religions, and what creates a lot of the wars? Is it just politics, or is it religion? I see a lot of wars being started because of politics and religion.
I think
war. That we're told that the Muslims are attacking Christians. Is it the Muslims that are attacking the Christians?
No, it's the ruling elite setting it all up.
Yeah, you know it. It is the elites that are attacking us. They're dividing us through the religions.
Yeah, they brainwash us. Like, I mean, everybody was scared of communism, but really, we already have it. We've already got a dictatorship. We've already got communism. We have a two-party system that never changes.
Yep.
Our votes don't mean anything. It's all fake. So we've already got it.
And left wing, right wing, isn't it still the same bird?
No, it is. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They both get in, so they both get what they want eventually. So they're basically ruling the country together.
Yeah.
Even though they make it look like they're separate and opposite, they're not.
Yeah.
And then they're both that corrupt, or the system is that they've got outside monetary influences, which is not meant to be there.
See, I have mixed feelings about Trump. I mean, one minute I wouldn't trust a guy as far as I could throw him, and the next minute I'm saying, man, he's got more balls than most any other president that I've seen in this country since I've been born. I mean, I don't see the relationship.
I'll
Well,
tell you what, I just watched a whole series with my kids of men. What are you when you're gay and you dress up as a woman?
a tranny.
No. When you just dress up as one, but you're still a bloke.
Just a cross dresser.
Yeah. And I tell you what, some of these guys looked hot. Like, and even the big ugly guys looked pretty okay for a big girl. I was like, fuck, damn, what?
Ah,
You just can't tell when they start sticking makeup and shit on. Like,
I'm too
and
hairy. I'm too hairy.
that's why I don't go there anymore. It's like you can't tell anymore, and I don't want to get drowned in that. Oh my god, everybody, because I already think everybody's fake anyway. So whether they're sexually fake, I think everybody's an actor. All these people, they play roles, they swap over. And don't forget, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know because I just watched a video where a guy was saying that Trump is Elvis Presley.
well,
Ah, I cracked me up. I'm like, oh my, come on, man. Trump.
we see.
Even the Crystal River channel marker flashing. The only one that I really can't see with my naked eye is Cutter's Rock. All the other ones I can see, and when I, compare them with my navigation chart, they all line up pretty much where I want them to. And the one that I misidentified was Cutter's Rock, only because on my navigation chart they did not have Hernando Beach um, um, navigation light on that, saying that it was a navigation light. But apparently, it has to be some kind of a navigation light because it's built the same as all the other racks. Because I actually drove out to it in my boat. I went to every one of those bird racks except for, well, I've been to Bayport prior, but this ain't the first time I've been out to the racks. I went out to all of them once before, but I just never put the GPS in. I mean, I should have because we got, real close up to all the racks, but I should have pulled right up on them like I did Bayport. Bayport, we actually got up on the rack and measured it. It was 10 by 10 by 10, plus there's about 6 foot of other crap on the top with a light on it, with the light fixture. So it's about 16 feet tall, and they're all about approximately the same. But this is what I talked about with perspective, because Cutter's Rock is so small and so far away, you can't see it with the naked eye. But as soon as I started zooming in with the camera, I mean, I can obviously see it. So I even took pictures of it. Because it just gets so much smaller. It gets lower to the water, and the lower it gets to a surface, then you have all of this other stuff to deal with: the diffraction, the water in our atmosphere, all these different conditions. And then if there's any little bit of mirroring occurring in front of Cutter's Rock, gone. It's gone. It totally disappears. And that's almost the same way with almost all of those racks out there. The next farthest one out is Billy Steele's in the North Rack. And if there's a lot of mirroring out there, you can't see them at all. So what does that tell you? That this mirroring effect does block out distant objects. It hides them within that mirroring effect. And
Oh,
I think we're looking at a reflection at a certain point. It's just all reflection. Matter of fact, I mean, my opinion of the sun is it is some kind of a projected light projected onto a surface, or it's even being projected through the atmosphere.
Oh, the
Yeah,
sun still gets oversized over land. Yeah,
yeah, you do get,
it's the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere in the air
yeah, just above the
as
surface.
well.
And well, it's
Well, it's the
still the
same thing,
atmosphere.
really.
It's still the atmosphere.
The
And people
atmosphere.
don't like to use the word atmosphere, but you know, the average person is more aware of the word atmosphere than they are of, planosphere. What are you talking about, planosphere? Yeah. Well, if you use the term atmosphere, more people are going to be relate to that, especially the globe people. And that's why
And
I
it's to do with temperature, like just the heat and the coldness of the air that you're looking through, and maybe different temperatures because you're looking across land, across water.
Yep.
Whereas when you look up, you're not, there's no land to sort of add heat and cold or wind, or I don't know really exactly.
Yeah, well, in the summer months, if you take your camera and put it real close to the ground across any land, you can start seeing that heat wave coming off and distorting everything. So this starts to distort stuff. Well, here in Florida, anyhow, it does. I've done it in my own yard. Just got my camera down real low, and you can see that heat coming off the ground by the distortion that it causes on everything. And that's why on some days I go out there too. The distortion is really, really bad. Like
Yeah.
on that Davo footage, well, I even got some other footage that I posted where the distortion was really, really heavy, but you could see, water above the bird racks. I mean, water beyond the bird racks, which actually appeared to be above because eye level, due to perspective, is actually higher than the Bayport rack. So if I'm at 28 inches off the water, well, eye level actually is still taking me above the rack. Believe it or not, by using a level and the virtual horizon on my camera, I can determine that above that rack is eye level, even though if I took a string line from my camera out to that rack, it would be level to 28 inches. But what would that string line do if I look down it? It would look like it dropped, right? So everything drops in size. So you're not getting your true eye level because that's the way our eyes work through perspective. Everything drops. So it's dropping not only the object lower, but it's also dropping the entire horizon down low too, due to the other effects of the atmosphere, whether it's looming or whether it's here was something strange was when I had that day where I was seeing that water, I thought, well, when I zoomed in on Billy's or Bayport rack, that it was going to be huge, but it wasn't. It actually was smaller than I've ever seen it. It was like it was all compressed, smashed. So if it's smashed, then what am I looking at when I got a good day of visibility? Is that when I'm getting this looming? Is when it looks like it's like right up into my camera? I mean, these are questions that I've been asking myself because I've been really doing a lot of reviewing back through a lot of my footage. I just sit here and turn on video after video and watch it. Sometimes the same video, I got to watch it twice because it's like, wow, what did I see here? And every time I watch it, I see something different or I see something new. And that's why I consider myself an observer. Yeah, I'm more of an observer than anything. And you know, even the stars, when I start doing these star observations, it's just, you know, I'm thinking about, well, what if I was filming this from your position?
On that video yours that I commented on before, I just put a link to a Southern Cross time lapse that I took not long ago, a couple of weeks
Cool.
ago.
Cool. That, you know where that'd go, right? It'd go right in spam. It does.
Did it?
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't check, but it will be in spam. I guarantee you, because anybody that puts a link on my channel, for some reason, it gets thrown in spam immediately. And then sometimes I'll approve the comment, and then I go back to the video to comment to the person about it. And guess what? It's not there. I go back 3 days later, it's still not there. It's like, well, where did it go? I approved it. Well, that's part of YouTube's game plan that they're doing with us.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that YouTube is playing games with us. They're playing games with our views, our likes, our everything. They're manipulating everything.
Well, the only other option is that they're incompetent. So, you know, which is it? Incompetence or you're manipulating things? You know?
Well,
Yeah.
they become political.
Yeah, well, at the moment with my camera, I'm just doing star trails, just trying to film the sky from where I am and work out what the stars are doing, what the planets are doing, and what the moon is doing. I'm not sure how to do the sun yet because I don't have a sun filter. But yeah, I'm just trying to work out where everything is from where I sit in the world. That's what I'm up to. Oh, it's been great. Yeah, it's been great to chat.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, Patricia.
Yeah, it's always nice listening to Trouble About and Wide Awake. So, been interesting. I'd love to be able to be in a position where I could take pictures of the stars and stuff like that. My daughter moved to New Zealand for a while, and I was trying to get her to take pictures and stuff, but you know, she's not really into that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's always listening. It's always great listening to you too. And thank you for coming. Really enjoyed myself. And I
Thanks
love
for
you
having me.
both while I'm at it.
Love you too.
Yeah. Well, I want to end it with just saying that if anybody, no matter where they are at in the world, if you really think that your government cares a lot about you, think twice about that, because I really don't think that they care 2 bits about the people in their communities. If they did, this world would be a much better place to live in. In my country, if they wanted to get people out of poverty, they would not give NASA $56 million a day to do space exploration that does absolutely nothing for humanity except for robs them, the taxpayers' pockets. Because they could take that kind of money right there and change the way our whole country, as far as the poverty goes in this country, how that works. They could totally change it, but they don't. Why? Because they don't want to help the people. And always remember this. It's not just one group of people lives that matter. It's everybody's lives that matter, including the animals and plants of this world. It's not just one particular group. It's everybody's lives matter.
Yeah.
You know, we got to love everybody. Like, you know, they mean something, because we all mean something. No matter how rich or poor you are worth something. You're put here for a reason. Make the best of it that you can, and don't trust your government, because they're not here for you. And I appreciate you, Karen. I appreciate you, Patricia, and Trouble About. I very much like y'all. Love you very much. You're great people.
Oh, we think you're lovely too, Wide Awake.
Yeah, you're great.
Thank you so much. Just for the recording, although we're going to stay on this hangout, but for the recording, say goodbye to everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.
Yep, hasta la vista. I'll be back. I'll be back.